Welcome back to the deep dive. We are covering a massive amount of ground today, cracking open one of the absolute pillars of Chinese mythology, Feng Yanyi.
Or Investiture of the Gods.
Right, Investiture of the Gods.
It's a classic. I mean, it's basically the Game of Thrones meets Dragon Ball Z of the 16th century.
That is the perfect description. And usually when people talk about this book, they're focused on the big picture, you know, the war.
The Shang Dynasty versus the Zhou, yeah. Huge armies, gods fighting demons.
Magical super weapons that can just vaporize mountains. It's really high-octane stuff. But we're not looking at the war today, not really. We're zooming in on a very specific squad.
Right, the heavy hitters, the elite special forces of the mythological world.
Exactly. The 12 Golden Immortals of the Chan Sect. These guys are like the Navy SEALs of this universe.
Yeah.
They're the direct disciples of the primeval Lord of Heaven, Yuanshi Tianzun.
Untouchable, basically.
In theory. But here's the hook for today's deep dive. We aren't looking at the strongest one. We're looking at the guy who is widely, and I mean widely, considered the absolute worst.
The runt of the litter, so to speak.
Yes. You're talking about Huang Long Zhen Ren.
The yellow dragon, real person. That's him.
The Yellow Dragon. If you go on the forums, if you look at any of the power rankings, this guy gets absolutely roasted.
Oh, it's brutal.
He's the weakest member. He has no solo wins. He gets captured constantly, and he doesn't have any of the cool gadgets. He's sort of the invisible man of the group.
He's often called the four-no Taoist. No brain, no ability, no treasures, no disciples. I mean, it's harsh.
Four-no Taoist. Wow, that's devastating. But, and this is the whole mission of our deep dive today, I think that reputation is completely misunderstood. You're arguing that if we actually look at what he achieves, or maybe what he avoids.
What he avoids, exactly.
Yeah.
He might actually be the smartest guy in the room.
Okay, I love this. You're saying his strategy, which looks a lot like lying flat or tang ping.
That it might make him the most realistic and ultimately successful character in the entire epic. We just have to redefine what winning actually means.
I'm in. Let's start with his resume. Before we get to the roasting, who is this guy on paper?
Well, his credentials are undeniably elite. He isn't some random wandering Taoist.
Right.
He's a direct disciple of Yuanshi Tianzun. That puts him in the C-suite of the Chan Sect.
So just to be clear for everyone, he's in the same peer group as the heavyweight.
Exactly. He sits at the same table as Guanchengzi, Tai Zhenren, Yuding Zhenren. These are the names that make demons tremble. And Huanglong is right there with them.
So his stats isn't fake. His starting point is incredibly high.
It is. And that's a crucial point we have to come back to. You don't get to be a golden immortal by accident.
You don't just trip and fall into that job.
Not at all. The barrier to entry for this group is impossibly high. Being a direct disciple means you've already passed tribulations that would just vaporize a normal immortal. The fact that he's at the table means his base level cultivation is elite.
So he's the worst player on the All-Star team. He's still an All-Star.
Exactly. But, you know, the fans aren't wrong about his performance stats. If you treat Feng Yanyi like a video game or a sports season.
His stat line is tragic. It really is. I was looking through the source material and, okay, point number 1. No solo wins.
It's true. He just doesn't have those highlight reel moments. He isn't out there chopping heads off or winning these high-stakes duels.
When the camera cuts to him, he's usually in the background.
Or worse, he's in trouble.
And point number 2, which I think is a huge status symbol in this world, the apprentice flex.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
In this world, your disciples are your brand ambassadors. They're your legacy. Look at Yuding Zhenren. He has Yang Jin.
Who's basically the Superman of Chinese myth.
And Tai Zhenren has Neza, who's this chaotic, powerhouse. Everyone knows Neza.
Right, but Huanglong.
He's got nobody, no heir to carry his brand,
Yeah.
no mini-me running around causing havoc and, making him look good.
It's like being the only guy at the country club who drives a beat-up sedan. But the biggest thing, and I think this is what really hurts his reputation, is the loot, the gear.
The magical artifacts.
Yeah.
This world is defined by items. It's very RPG-like.
For sure.
If you have the Fantian Yin, the sky overturning stamp, you can crush anything.
Or like the 9 Dragon God Fire Shroud. These things are insane.
Right. The weapons determine the winner 90% of the time.
And Huanglong has what exactly?
0. Nothing. He has no famous magical items. He arrives at the battlefield empty-handed. He rides a crane, which is kind of standard issue.
And he carries a sword. That's it.
That's it.
That is wild to me. A golden immortal showing up empty-handed, that seems, I mean, that's just suicidal.
He relies solely on his own cultivation. He's basically bringing a fist to a nuke fight. And in a novel where items dictate power levels, it makes him look incredibly weak.
And it leads to some pretty embarrassing moments.
It does.
We have to talk about the Nine Bends Yellow River Array. This seems to be the moment his reputation just tanks.
This is the absolute low point for the entire Chanjiao team, and Huang Long was right in the middle of it. So they're fighting the three Xiao sisters Sanjiao.
And these sisters are no joke.
Incredibly powerful. They set up this formation, the Yellow River Array, and they use this weapon called the Hunyuan Jindu, the Golden Dipper.
And this thing is nasty.
It is terrifying. It doesn't just kill you, it, deletes your progress. It stripped the immortals of their 3 flowers on top of their heads and the 5 ki in their chests.
Okay, can we pause on that? 3 flowers and 5 ki. In plain English, that's basically their whole power level, isn't it?
Yes. It's the physical manifestation of their immortality. It represents eons of work, of cultivation.
So the Golden Dipper basically hit factory reset on them.
A total factory reset. It turned them from gods back into essentially regular people.
Ouch. That is a fate worse than death for these guys, and Huang Long was caught in this.
Trapped right along with the others. His cultivation was damaged. He was helpless. He was literally hung up on a pole inside the array, just dangling there.
And who saved them?
They had to call in the big guns. Their master, Yuanshi Tianzun, and even Taishang Laojun had to come down personally to bail them out.
So, yeah, this incident really makes it look like the other side had superior raw power, and guys like Huang Long were just fodder. He couldn't fight his way out. He needed his boss to save him.
That's the surface reading, yes.
Yeah.
And it does show that even golden immortals aren't invincible. But if we stop there, we miss the brilliance of Huang Long's character. This is where we need to pivot.
Okay, let's do the deep dive reframe, because you're saying despite the lack of loot, the lack of disciples, and the humiliating capture, he's actually a winner.
I am. We need to look at the survivor argument. We have to clarify the difference between the investiture list and true immortality.
This is a key distinction. The book is called Investiture of the Gods. So becoming a god is the goal.
Right. That's the trick. In this universe, becoming a god, or Shen, is actually a demotion.
Wait, really? A demotion?
Yes. If you die in the war, your soul goes to the investiture list. You become a god in the celestial court. That sounds nice, but it means you're a bureaucrat. You have a boss. You have to clock in and answer prayers.
So you're a celestial civil servant forever. You have a 9 to 5 for eternity.
Correct. The goal of a Taoist is to be an immortal, a Xian. A Xian is free. They roam the mountains, they cultivate, they answer to no one. They live outside the system.
So the real winners are the ones who don't end up on the list.
Exactly. And how do you end up on the list?
Aita.
By dying. And how do you die? Usually by getting involved in cause and effect.
Karma.
And this is where Huang Long's weakness becomes his shield.
Okay. I see where you're going with this.
Think about the other golden immortals. Guang Chengxi, Tai Zhenren. They're killing people left and right. They are racking up massive karmic debts. They're constantly in the line of fire because they're so dangerous.
I have targets on their backs, but Huang Long doesn't have a kill count.
He has a 0 mistakes record. While other immortals got involved in messy karma, killed people in fits of rage, Huang Long stayed clean. He avoided major cause and effect debts.
And in this universe, that's everything. Killing someone creates a spiritual IOU that will come back to bite you.
It's a hook that drags you into trouble. Huang Long's lack of kills is a safety feature.
That is fascinating. So while everyone else is playing Call of Duty, trying to get the highest KD ratio, he's playing a survival horror game where the only goal is don't die.
And he's very, very good at it. He's playing a defensive game.
And he makes it to the end.
He does. He survives the war. He keeps his physical body. He doesn't go on the list. He remains a free immortal. By the metric of freedom, he absolutely wins.
He secured the bag. He got the pension without doing any of the dirty work.
Well, it goes deeper than that. It ties into the symbolism of his name. Huang Long, Yellow Dragon.
I wanted to ask about that. In Chinese color theory, yellow is a big deal.
It is. In the 5 elements theory, yellow corresponds to earth. It represents the center.
Earth. So grounding. Stability.
Exactly. He isn't fire, which is aggressive and burns out.
Yeah.
He isn't metal, which is sharp and brittle. He is the earth that endures, that carries the weight.
So he's the foundation. You can build a house on earth, you can't build it on fire.
Precisely. And this sort of ties into his role. You could frame him as the representative of the conservative faction of Chanjiao.
The conservative faction.
No.
What does that mean here?
It means he isn't trying to be a hero. He's trying to conform to the way of heaven, or Shantian. He understands that the war is just a passing phase. The real goal isn't to win the war. It's to understand the Tao and live forever.
Which explains how he could survive the Golden Dipper. He lost his powers, but he didn't lose his mind.
That's a great point.
Ah.
A lesser cultivator, stripped of their power like that, might have gone mad. Huanglong took the hit, waited for rescue, and then, this is the important part, he went right back to work. He never quit.
There's a modern parallel here that I think is hilarious. He's basically the master of lying flat. Tangpin.
It fits perfectly. Imagine a high-pressure corporate environment. You've got the high potentials, the Tai Zhenrens. They're launching risky products, getting into lawsuits.
Making huge bonuses, but also risking burnout or getting fired. The rock star path.
Right, and then you have Huang Long.
The guy who's been there for 20 years.
He doesn't chase the flashy promotions. He never leads the risky projects. But he also never gets fired. He shows up, he nods, he offers support, and eventually he retires with a full pension while the rock stars have all crashed and burned.
I think we all know a Huang Long in our office. And honestly, we usually underestimate them until everything goes wrong and they're the only ones still standing.
It's a valid strategy. In a universe as dangerous as this one, being boring is a survival trait. Sometimes the best ability is simply availability.
Availability is the best ability. I love that. He's the guy who shows up, does the work, and stabilizes the team.
He does. He stands his ground in the final 10,000 Immortals array. He doesn't need to be the MVP. He realizes that a team full of MVPs just collapses. You need a reliable support class.
It really challenges our Western idea of what a hero is. We want the hero holding the severed head of the dragon.
But the Taoist hero is the one who's still drinking tea 500 years later. To conquer without striving. Wu Wei. Huang Long might actually be the closest to the Tao because he has the least ego.
Wait, does he have the least ego? Or does he just have nothing to brag about?
That's the million-dollar question. But look at his behavior. He gets captured, mocked, hung up on a pole.
Yeah.
Literal humiliation. But he never complains. He never lashes out or seeks revenge.
That's actually very true. The other immortals get angry, they seek vengeance, which just creates more karma. Huang Long just absorbs it.
He's a sponge. He takes the hits for the team.
But I want to circle back for a second. The source mentioned that outside of the novel, the Yellow Dragon has a different vibe.
Yes, that's an important distinction.
Yeah.
In actual Taoist folk religion, Huanglong is often associated with true dragons, earth energy, feng shui. He's a powerful, auspicious symbol.
So the weak Huang Long is really a creation of the author for the book.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The novel, Feng Shen Yanyi, basically did him dirty for the sake of the plot.
Yeah.
The author needed a jobber, someone to get beat up to show how strong the bad guys were.
Right. If the enemy captures a top guy like Wang Shengzi right away, the story's over. But if it captures Huang Long, it shows the weapon is dangerous, but the story can keep going.
Exactly. He's the ultimate wingman. He took the fall for the narrative.
So we've gone from the foreknow Taoist to the master of survival. It's a total reframe.
I think it's a necessary one. If you read the book as an action movie, he's terrible. If you read it as a guide to navigating a chaotic, dangerous universe, he's a genius.
It makes you think about our own lives. We're so obsessed with stats, how much money, how many followers. What's your job title?
We all want to be the main character with the shiny weapon. But the main characters often meet tragic ends. Or they end up enslaved to their own success, like the gods on the Investiture list. They get the title, but they lose their freedom.
So the takeaway here for you listening is pretty profound. In your own life, your career, are you trying to be a Tai Zhenren, the superstar who burns bright and risks it all for a moment of glory?
Or are you okay being the Yellow Dragon, the one who endures, the one who avoids the karma that destroys others, the one who's still standing when the dust settles?
Maybe weakness is just a disguise for wisdom, and maybe the guy at the office who never speaks up in meetings knows something you don't.
In the long run, I'd bet on the Yellow Dragon.
That's a great place to leave it. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. It really changes how you look at the boring characters.
Absolutely. Keep your eyes on the quiet ones.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.